All right, here we go. It's Eating with Sasquatch. I am the Sasquatch, and today we got a good one. This is the Genghis Khan brain, and this is a big one to me. I don't know what the average weights are on these, but this one seems pretty large. Look at the spine sticking off. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like a big, gnarly little spine sticking off of that thing. It's just like ready to stab you or something. Got a bunch of sharp edges on this thing, real gnarled up looking. So one thing that I do know about this, I'm not real familiar with the whole Genghis Khan brain thing, but when you talk about brain strains, a lot of times what you'll see on a brain strain is these real ripply little waves on the pepper. The brain strains, it tends to kind of look like the ripples in a brain. That's kind of why they go that route with the name on them. I do not know a whole lot about this. I do know that this pod, most of the guys that have tried this have said that this is a floral pod. So I'm kind of planning on not particularly liking this because it's a floral flavor. This came to me from my friend Randy Pappas. He is a good friend of mine, owner of Twister Brand Inc. They are available in multiple locations right now with their SFG garlic, spicy effing garlic. Good stuff. Randy's good friend, good people. So definitely really excited to try some of his pods. I mean, the dude grows quite a few different, strains of stuff. He actually sent me a box of like 13 or 14 different kinds of peppers, and unfortunately I probably won't be able to try all of them before they start going bad because there's just so many and I only have so much time in, each week to be able to do these kinds of things. So but I definitely want to try certain ones of these that he sent. I've got a Reaper from him that I want to try just because it's Randy's Reaper, so definitely want to try that. And then there's maybe a chocolate pod or two that I really want to try. So we will see where I end up. But right now, Genghis Khan brain, let's weigh this sucker out and see what we're looking at. If this is your first time watching me on YouTube, do me a favor. Go down and hit the subscribe button. Right next to that is the notification bell. If you hit the notification bell when I upload a video, you can be notified of that. Or if I go live, sometimes I go live, be notified of that. Also, down in the description, I'll have a link to Randy Pappas Twister Brands page on Facebook. And hopefully I know he's selling on Amazon now. I might even put a link in Amazon, a link to his thing in Amazon if I can find his particular one. Sometimes on Amazon it gets kind of funny. There'll be like side sellers and stuff. As long as I can make sure I can find his link, I'll use that to put in the description as well. This is a 9-gram pod, so it is not a small pod. Usually the average size super hots are going to be kind of in that 6 and 7 gram region. This one's a 9, so it's a fairly large pod and not anything to shake a stick at. And it just, I'm telling you, it's got all these like little spines and gnarls on it, just looking dangerous. Again, this is the Genghis Khan brain. So, to get my knife here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stem off. Get that out of the way first. Oops, almost missed the trash can. Alrighty, cut her in half. Whew! I smell some evil seeping out. Alright, I'll let you guys look first, and then I'll take a gander at it. I'm betting, oh, seed just dropped out, I saw that. I'm betting this is going to be pretty crazy. Yeah. It's really oily in here. The placenta is actually not terribly huge in here, which is good. You can always tell that when they're going to be really hot, though, because the outside is bright red, and the inside is like this bright orange. And it's a nice thick-walled pepper, so yeah. I see a seed here that's a little on the not so good colored side. I'm gonna go ahead and knock a few of those out. I'll save some of them. I really don't like to eat a lot of seeds in there. It kind of messes with me anyways. And I promise you guys, the seeds are not where the heat is. The oils is where the heats are. A lot of people say, oh, seeds in there, blah, blah, blah. No. Seeds make no difference in the heat. I mean, if anything, the seeds make the pod taste different. They'll make the pod taste a little more bitter. But you can see I left plenty in there anyways. So if you were worried about that, there's just a few that were kind of a little on the brownie side. Probably just because it's a really ripe pod, and as they get ripe, sometimes the seeds tend to get a little dark spots on them, a couple dark spots on them. So, alrighty, nothing left to do but to do it. So here we go. 3, God, this is a big pod. 2, 1. Not tasting the floor wood. Alright. Yeah. Definitely a lot of floral in there. At first I didn't really taste it. Again, I think that's one of the kind of character traits of floral pods most of the time, unless you're dealing with a brown. Wow, the floral is just, oh, it's rising. The heat's kind of coming up a little bit too. The floral. Very floral pod. Heat's at about a, oh, I just spit a little piece of pepper out. Heat's about a 4 right now. Closing in on 5 real quick. It's coming up on a 5. Flavor, little sweetness, very little sweetness up front. Wasn't bad actually at first. Wow, we're cruising right through 5. We're heading to 6. I can feel a tear trying to well up in my right eye. Yeah, so the sweetness, very little at the beginning. It actually had a fairly decent flavor up there. The tear's starting to roll out of the eye now. I think we're at a 6 now. Yeah. Sweetness, very little up front. Tastes pretty good, and then all of a sudden the floral kicked in, and definitely this is a pepper that I think it'd have to be used in sauce or dehydrated. Maybe the smokiness would come out in a powder form. Definitely warm. I think we're in 6. I got the tear coming out of the eye now. Yep, nose just started. So if any of you guys are wondering how I pull my rankings on heat and everything, let me explain this to you real quick. So 1 means I can tell there's heat there. Generally a 1, I don't really feel it. 2 is kind of like I can tell the heat's there. It's present, but it's not really even tingling my tongue. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit more prevalent than a 1. I guess it's starting to kind of tickle the tongue a little bit. 3, you're definitely, the tongue knows it's there. Sometimes you can feel it in different spots, like your throat or different parts of your tongue on a 3. 4, usually when you're starting to really know that there's heat there. It's kind of like that realm of kind of almost like a little more than a habanero. Tongue's burning pretty good. Throat kind of burns sometimes in a 4. 5 is a ghost pepper heat to me. So if you're familiar with what a ghost pepper feels like, that's a 5. It's, you know, and it can be different peppers that do different things, you know, tongue burn and whatever. 5 generally, for me, these are for me though. This is how I check by body reference, is what my body's doing. So at a 5, I'm not usually letting tears or snot coming out. Then you get to a 6. That's when my nose lets go, my eyes start to let go. 7, usually I'm like panting, breathing a little heavier, you know, harder to talk. 8 is when I'm really starting to kind of feel the tingly, the waves of heat generally. Eyes are just gone at that point. Having trouble seeing. 9, starting to get like tingly, something like that. You know, feeling that lightheadedness. A 10, I am fully crossed over into endorphin rush. The heat levels are just so immense that it's not going to get any hotter. And a lot of times when I hit a 10, I feel this like floating feeling for like usually 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even up to 30 minutes at a time. And usually there's only one thing that really gets me to that 10 level, and that's the toe of Satan. Now, I've had some other stuff that through consumption of a lot of stuff, I've reached a 10, but by itself, the toe of Satan has been the most wicked. I feel like I've peaked on that pepper. I'm gonna call it a 6. It's definitely a strong 6. It's not. I wouldn't say it's. I shouldn't say a strong 6. It's definitely a respectable 6. It's got my eye watering really good. Nose has been kind of sketchy. Got a little bit of whiskey chest. Nothing terrible, but it's definitely there. So yeah. Started to come down a little bit off of that one. It was a good burn. That was a good burn. Very strong on the tongue, quite a bit in the throat. Like I said, a little bit in the whiskey chest. I guess the belly's burning a little bit too. So nothing outrageous, like gonna scream about or anything. But it was a pretty hot pod. So again, thank you, Randy Pappas, Twister Brands Inc. I think I got a couple more pods that I want to do for you. So I wish I could do all of them, but there's just no way. Not in the time frame that I have before they all go bad. So I'm trying to pick out the ones that I find the most interesting. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and jump off here and probably get ready to do another review, believe it or not. So yeah, again, if you're not subscribed, go down, hit the subscribe button, and right next to it's a notification bell. Please do that for me. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. You hit that subscribe button and it helps me grow my channel, so I would appreciate that. So until next time, eat like a squatch.